The first thing is good morning. Good morning. So wonderful to see this group together across practice areas and different decades and different roles, and students and staff and alum and friends and allies and people coming from near and far to join us. I'm Dan Nagin, director of LSC, and welcome to our 40th anniversary gathering. Now, forgive me, I need to look down at my notes periodically because I have to make some logistics announcements. And if I don't make those announcements, I will get in a lot of trouble. So I'm sitting next to Jeanne Charn. What a privilege to be seated here with Jeanne, but also to be seated with all of you and to be together in this moment. So I want to talk just very briefly about the plan for the day, and I'm going to have to be very efficient, and I may not cover everything I need to cover because if we don't start on time, we won't finish on time, and we won't get to the next phases on time, and we have so much to do, and I'm very excited about it all. So, so the thing that I want to say is that, yes, this is our 40th anniversary, but it's also the year that we mark the 25th anniversary of our deep connection to what was then Hale and Dorr and now WilmerHale. And so there are many folks here with ties to WilmerHale, both present and past. And WilmerHale is also the sponsor of today's event. So please join me in thanking WilmerHale. So what are our goals today? I think there are two. First, connect, reconnect with each other, find old friends, make new friends, and socialize and eat and create community. But we also want to get some work done, right? That is today, just like every day at LSC, we want to ask difficult questions, wrestle with troubling answers, and figure out how to put theory into practice. And we very intentionally, and I've talked a fair amount about this with Jeanne in the planning effort, we are not calling this a celebration. This is not the 40th anniversary party. This is not the 40th anniversary celebration. And so we've consciously avoided the words celebrate, celebration. Yeah, we want to have some fun and we want to connect and break bread together. But we also want to challenge each other and test old ideas and also some new ones. And so I look forward to real conversations today and real meaningful exchanges on important ideas about justice and service and education and our roles in it. So very briefly, as the day goes on, it may be that this room, all the seats are occupied. And I just want to note that we may have folks in the fourth floor where we have an overflow room. And so if that happens to be the case, or you end up on the fourth floor because you want to move around a little bit, which we encourage people to do, I'll get to that in a moment, you can participate from the fourth floor via a text message system so that your questions and comments can be read and incorporated down here. So even if you meander around the building or you end up upstairs by choice or otherwise, that you can still participate, and we encourage you to do so. All right. So let me turn to some other logistics for the day. So we're moving from the high-minded, talking about justice and talking about how to create change. Now I'm going to tell you where the bathrooms are. There's a bathroom out front here, out that door, and there's also out the back door just to the left. And there are also bathrooms basically in the same location on the second and fourth floor. So whenever you need to use the restrooms, you can use them here or on one of the upper floors. There's also going to continue to be coffee and refreshments on the second and fourth floors. If you need to make a call, you want to get some food, you want to freshen your coffee, you need to check email, you can go to the second or the fourth floors to do that. You'll also notice some of my LSC colleagues around the room and around the building today wearing red t-shirts. They are your point people. Should you have any questions or needs, just let them know. Let me just last also thank the LSC family, all of my colleagues. This is an incredible team effort in planning and execution, and a lot of people contributed to it. And I just want to take a moment, because there may not be time through the rest of the schedule to say how privileged I am to work here and how grateful I am for the enormous amount of community effort to make today possible. Today's food is from Haley House, a local nonprofit based in Roxbury and the South End. And so Haley House does wonderful work, and just know that every bite you're taking, you're really helping to support a wonderful cause. Let me now turn it over to Jeanne for some welcoming remarks.
What? I don't have too much to say. Let me just say, I always have a lot to say before you start. I would reserve all my time for discussions of substance. So it is just an absolute thrill to see so many people who were part of the founding generation, and from the scruffy ex-factory building to be able to have a real home. Not only gave us a wonderful home, but I think it played a big role in the fact that this program still exists and it's still working here. I don't think we could have made it out of the factory for a long time. So the lawyers at the law firm, I still think of you as Hale and Dorr. Sorry, I know Wilmer Pickering's there too. Have made a tremendous difference and made this happen. But it is what it is because of the people who went through here, and that's the staff members and the students. Some students became staff members. They went on. We have leaders in clinical education who are graduates of the center, and it's a close-knit group. Everybody who's been here, there's something special about it and about the effort that's made here. It's not finished. We need to take time also to remember who are not here. I mean, obviously Gary, but I think Gary must be in the room. People are thinking about him and talking about him. This was really his vision, and we signed on. But we've lost many of the early members of the center: Paula Pope, Ellen Marie Ray, of course, David Grossman, who at the school. So I just want to remember those people as well. They all made everybody who's here made a contribution, and the place is what it is because of all the people who came through here and are here now. Wasn't clear at some point that this was going to last beyond me. I've managed to survive, but it did. And kudos to Dan, who picked it up. And what he has done here is very much what this program was meant to be. So it's here. I hope it's here for another 25, 30 years. I think it's among a few programs like this in legal education and in legal services, but more about that later.
Thank you, Jeanne. So let's start by talking about the work.